Today, I'm going to talk about the prequels, comics, and general history of Hazbin Hotel for the new fans who have just jumped in after seeing the show on Amazon Prime, as there's a lengthy history to fun story and development before the official first season aired. My name is Imcut, and if you haven't seen it yet, go check out the video I made reviewing the recent new indie cartoon, Port by the Sea. If you like Hazbin Hotel and Helluva were their mythological influences, you'll at the very least like the breakdown I did of this new show and how it uses real-life mythology to inspire its story. To start working our way backwards, most of you are obviously aware of the Hazbin Hotel season on Amazon Prime, which consists of 8 episodes. The story of the first season picks up where the pilot left off. The pilot is available for free to watch here on VivziePop's channel, and in my opinion, Season 1 runs better if you watch the pilot right before Episode 1 of the series proper, as it really feels like a direct follow-up to it, really a second episode in the series, with the pilot really being the first. The pilot has a different cast, different animation style, and different visuals for characters and backgrounds, but according to VivziePop herself, the pilot is canon for the most part outside of the visual differences. Of course, on that channel you will also see 1.5 seasons of another show called Helluva, which takes place in the same universe as Hazbin Hotel, and is a spin-off series despite having more episodes than Hazbin Hotel already. Helluva was started shortly after production of Hazbin Hotel's pilot had ended, with the seeming goal to be creating a second show in the same world to keep the Hazbin Hotel fandom engaged while shopping Hazbin Hotel around to Amazon Prime. Because this took a while, Helluva managed to get into its second season. It had simple episodes at first, but as time went on, it got increasingly complex and ultimately seemed to have a higher budget than Helluva overall. To be sure to have Helluva not cover the same kind of story as Hazbin Hotel, VivziePop took a few of the side characters from Hazbin Hotel that were native-born demons and made them the primary focus in the spin-off show. You can even see early drafts of Blitz, Moxie, and Luna in the Hazbin Hotel pilot, as well as Stolas in the rough draft scene from the pilot featuring various overlords. While originally the episodes were intended to focus more so on missions up to Earth, from what I understand, this has just become the background plot for the most part, with the show instead following the IMP gang on various adventures across the other 6 rings of hell. So Hazbin Hotel essentially focuses on the struggles of humans that have manifested in hell, as well as the divine entities known as angels that have trapped them there, and Helluva deals with the native hellborns and their communities that exist where the sinners can't reach them, as the sinners are stuck in the Pride Ring. Now, after the pilot, Helluva wasn't the only idea VivziePop had in order to keep fans interested in Hazbin, and she had devised a series of comics to serve as sort of prequels to Hazbin Hotel. We don't know how many of these were originally planned, but only 3 were publicly discussed as far as I know, with only 2 actually finishing production. These 2 comics are the Angel Dust prequel comic and the Alistair prequel comic, with there at some point having been plans for a Vaggie and Charlie comic focusing on how the 2 first met, though this one never seemed to get started. The one-shot comics for Alistair and Angel, however, were available for free on HazbinHotel.com as official prequel materials before being removed and more or less ignored when the show was picked up by Amazon Prime. The Angel Dust comic focused on Angel trying to find a way to escape Valentino before eventually meeting Charlie and Vaggie. The comic starts with Angel attempting to do some sort of dirty deal with what looks like a bunch of loan sharks, as seen in Hazbin Hotel and Helluva. Angel ends up in a funny situation when the deal goes wrong, but manages to get out of it and back to Valentino, who is not pleased with him. You see, Angel is trying to escape his life as an adult film star working for Valentino, but that doesn't mean he has to escape Valentino entirely. Before going to the hotel, Angel was trying various plots like this to do some of Valentino's deals before he or his own goons could get to it. In doing so, Angel hoped to prove that he could be a greater asset to Valentino as part of his crime ring, allowing him to escape the adult work he is doing as part of their soul deal. From old livestream lore and animatics and such, we know that Angel was part of an Italian mob family before he passed away. While the exact story of Angel's past is not known within the show and could go in wildly different directions after some behind-the-scenes changes, Angel had a brother Arachnus originally and a father Henroan who continued to be part of the illegal businesses when they manifested in hell. Angel, wanting to escape this, seemingly turned to Valentino for a soul deal, the exact nature of which is unknown, but which seems to be part of what keeps Angel going with his drug addiction. Valentino makes it clear that Angel is only of use to him as an adult worker, however, and sends him back onto the streets to make more money. It is here that Angel is approached by Charlie and Vaggie, who have been working on putting together the hotel, but are still looking for a patron. Charlie believes that Angel in particular is someone who would be ready for redemption, and Angel ends up agreeing to this only because he is more or less tricked into insisting that he could totally get redeemed because of his pride. Charlie gives him a stack of money to help him with any financial issues before moving into the hotel, and that sets up the pilot where he is already a guest there. Now, the Angel Dust prequel comic is a must-read for anyone who wants more insight into the story of Valentino and Angel and their crazy work dynamic, which we just barely got to see in Season 1 really. But the Alistair comic, I would say, is essential for fans of Hazbin Hotel as a whole, with it really exploring the dark side of Alistair and the cannibal colony that we see in the show. The comic is about a day in the life of Alistair, showing his various sides. He likes to simply wander around, enjoying nothing in particular, but finding something of a sort of chaotic routine in hell. He goes to a restaurant where he makes it so that the birds attack the waiter just for fun, but he gives money to someone performing on the street who has a tune Alistair likes. Immediately, this shows us a contrast within Alistair that doesn't line up with our typical ideas of good and evil, and that gets explored heavily later in the comic. First, Alistair stops to swear at a television set, through which Vox is spying on him. To get away from this, he goes to the cannibal colony, which is a place where you have to adhere to their early 1900s sense of dress and general lifestyle, and as such, doesn't seem to be a place where screen-based technology is very welcome. Those who don't adhere to this are devoured in the streets, such as we see when Alistair passes by 3 cannibal ladies eating some poor victim when he asks to give Rosie his regards. The story takes its darkest turn when Alistair goes into a butcher shop that specializes in demon meat, something Alistair makes clear is so common that he makes it a point to try each one and see what they bring to the table. The butcher here, however, is caught trying to take advantage of a small and cute demon, one who is here for cannibalistic reasons like everyone else, but one who Alistair comes to the defense of anyways. After trying to butcher this customer up to sell to other demons, Alistair decides that the butcher needs to be taught a lesson and decides to eat the butcher alive. While he does this as a punishment for going after someone weaker and softer than him, Alistair seems to want to terrify the little demon as well, warning her off of the very real darkness that cannibalism brings, that it isn't some sort of trendy sin for the weak to indulge in so casually. Alistair takes his full demon form, which looks oh so horrific in the comic book format, with him resembling the modern depictions of a Wendigo. From early live streams, we know that Alistair was a murderer during his human life on Earth, with this hinting at the possibility that he may have eaten his victims as well. However, his victims were likely not helpless the way we might imagine with normal serial killers, and crew members described Alistair as being a killer more so like Dexter. Not that Alistair would necessarily kill only other killers, but that he operates on a sort of moral code. He was described as seeing men as a list of their biggest flaws, whereas women in general he tends to find endearing and worthy of protection while also not romanticizing or sexualizing them. He simply thinks that they are more lovely creatures than men and shouldn't be forced into the twisted games that sinful men play, where they kill and eat each other, for instance. Now, there is no official way to get these two comics at this point, but between Google and the various comic dubs that exist here on YouTube, you should be able to find them no problem. Just keep in mind that certain details aren't canon if they contradict the show at all, and should really be seen more so as insight into the development process of the show, as opposed to more canon information about it. This is especially true for Zoophobia, the webcomic that Hazbin Hotel first spun off from. This was a webcomic that ran pretty far into its story. It was supposed to eventually make it even further in to a point called the Angels and Demon arc, which would feature the Hazbin Hotel characters fighting back against an angel and her demon hunters. However, for more information on that, check out my previous video on the two, one breaking down the story of Zoophobia and the other breaking down the story of the Hazbin Hotel characters in their earlier comic forms. See you guys there.